At the start of the war, the US submarine force was in a tough spot. Their numbers were small, and worse, their primary weapon, the Mark 14 torpedo, was notoriously faulty. It often ran too deep, its magnetic detonator was unreliable, and its contact exploder was a dud. For nearly 2 years, American submariners bravely went on patrol, firing torpedo after torpedo, only to see them fail. On the other side, the Imperial Japanese Navy, focused on a decisive surface battle, had grossly underestimated the submarine threat and was shockingly unprepared for anti-submarine warfare. They lacked sufficient escort ships and effective convoy systems. The turning point came not just in the water, but in the war rooms and workshops. By mid-1943, the torpedo problems were finally fixed, but the real game-changer was intelligence. Thanks to codebreakers who cracked Japanese naval and diplomatic codes under operations like Magic and Ultra, American commanders knew the routes, schedules, and cargo of Japanese convoys. This intelligence transformed US submarines from hopeful hunters into the most lethal commerce-raiding force in history. Armed with reliable torpedoes and priceless intelligence, US submarines began to systematically dismantle Japan's maritime lifeline. They adopted the wolf-pack tactics first used by German U-boats in the Atlantic, but with a crucial American advantage: superior radar. This allowed them to hunt effectively at night. A group of submarines would surround a convoy, launching coordinated attacks that overwhelmed the few escorts, creating chaos and sending ship after ship to the bottom. The numbers are staggering. By the end of the war, American submarines had sunk over 1,300 Japanese merchant ships, amounting to more than 5 million tons. This was over 55% of Japan's entire merchant fleet. They also destroyed over 200 warships, including an aircraft carrier and several battleships. The human cost was immense, with tens of thousands of Japanese soldiers, sailors, and even Allied prisoners of war losing their lives in these attacks. The psychological impact was profound. Japanese sailors, witnessing their ships vanish without warning, nicknamed the American submarines the Silent Death. Fear became so rampant that many experienced sailors began refusing to serve on transport ships. This relentless campaign had a strategic effect that went far beyond sinking ships. It strangled Japan's war economy. Japan, an island nation, was completely dependent on imports for survival. The submarines severed the arteries of its empire, cutting off vital supplies of oil from the Dutch East Indies, rubber and tin from Southeast Asia, and even food for the home islands. Factories ground to a halt for lack of raw materials. The once mighty Japanese military machine was starved of fuel. Island garrisons across the Pacific were left isolated, with no hope of resupply or reinforcement, effectively left to wither on the vine. So what made the US submarine campaign so uniquely successful? It was a combination of factors. Technological superiority was key, with advanced radar, sonar, and eventually reliable torpedoes. Unrestricted submarine warfare, a doctrine that allowed them to attack any enemy vessel without warning, maximized their effectiveness. Superior intelligence gave them an unparalleled edge. Tactical innovation, like nighttime wolfpack attacks, kept the Japanese off balance. And behind it all was America's massive industrial capacity, which built more and better submarines throughout the war, and the exceptional quality and training of the American crews who manned them. The American submarine campaign against Japan stands as the single most successful commerce destruction operation in all of naval history. It not only played a pivotal role in crippling Japan's ability to wage war, but also fundamentally shaped post-war naval doctrine around the world, proving that a silent, unseen force could bring an entire empire to its knees. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this deep dive interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.